Good morning. It's Monday, July 6th, 2020, and we are exploring something called the Suffering Square here in Nowhere Village right now. There's more information that I'll let you check out along with this video if you're watching about the square, but for now I'm just going to give you this really short introduction to it and a few questions that you can be contemplating this week as you use this framework to maybe help you understand some of your relationship challenges. So I'm going to share my screen and take you to the Google Doc version. Oh, and actually, before I do that, hang on a second. I'm actually going to stop the share. I'm going to just put a link for those of you that are joining. I meant to do this earlier. I'm just going to give you guys the links so that you can follow along. Yeah, so I'm sending you a version that's the Nowhere Village post if you prefer to use that, and there's a Google Doc post if you prefer to use that. Great. So what you'll see here is actually, oh, and now I'm going to share my screen. And what you'll see here is a little image that I made, just my little whiteboard, and took a photo. And I'll just talk about this for a minute now, and then I'll scroll down where there are a few questions that you could contemplate while you look at this. And so I'll just explain what you see here. If you've seen the drama triangle from modern psychology, this is based on that, but we've got an extra corner to it. I added something here. So at the top, you'll see savior and villain. And at the bottom, you'll see darling and victim. And I've made it into this grid, and you'll see going left to right, things are good to bad. And from top to bottom, the savior and the villain get to be subjects. They get to have power. They get to have, they get to act upon the world. And then at the bottom, you'll see that the darling and the victim are objects. They're recipients of experiences. The darling is having good experiences. This is the name I'm using for now. For this corner here is the one that I added to the triangle, right? That the darling is the recipient of good experiences, and the victim is the recipient of negative experiences. But they don't have a lot of agency, right? Whereas the savior and the villain have the agency. And there's a lot more that we can talk about, and I will talk about it more on Wednesday, and I did give a talk already about it last week, so you can dig into some of that. For now, I just want you to get a sense for this. Do ask questions on this post if you want. And then we're going to go ahead and just look, how do I use this? So you're going to check this out and contemplate how, see there's 4 characters here, and they all have dynamics. And just seeing how these have shown up in your own relationships. That's basically the work. And then you can, I suggest that you might want to start your journey with a pain point, which just means what's bothering you right now in your relationships. You know, usually we just follow what is instinctively coming up for us, and that'll be where the real deep inquiry practice is going to serve us. So it's a framework. It's describing some dynamics, and I've got some vocabulary for you, and just retelling the story of this relationship from using that might be really helpful in helping you understand what's going on. And then I just have some further questions for you to consider, which I'll leave up for those who are following along with the inquiry practice live. Yeah, I'll put that up for you in just a moment. I just want to say one more thing, maybe 2 more things about this little square while we're looking at it. What tends to happen is we have our stories, right, about other people, and they become kind of caricatures, right? 1-dimensional, 2-dimensional. And the fact of the matter is each person in the whole universe, right, is very complicated, and we're changing and we're shifting. The truth of the matter is that every person plays one of these roles at some point, or really plays them all at different times and tries them on at different times. And it can be really, really helpful to, again, to retell the story, be really honest about how you're seeing this person, right? I really see them as a villain right now. Just be really clear about that. And be compassionate towards yourself, give yourself permission to say, I have been seeing this person this way. And know that whatever you're doing in the, whatever inquiry work you're doing in your notebook, or however you're processing this stuff, it's okay to admit that we fall into these patterns, that we shove people into these corners and we make them two-dimensional. In order to free them from that and to free yourself from that, we first want to acknowledge it. We want to use this language. We want to use this simple framework in order to see the ways that we've been putting ourselves and others into boxes. And hopefully getting everybody free will lead to our bigger sort of theme for the week, which is authentic communication. Communication that helps us free each other and ourselves and helps us grow and heal. So those of us who are on the line are going to dive into this now, and I hope if you're watching live, you can do what we do. We set a timer for 12 minutes, and we work on the first part of the prompts, and then we see whether we want to keep going or we want to move on to a new prompt, and we set a timer for another 12 minutes. But obviously, you can work with these however you like. I love giving these to you at the beginning of the week and then having you sort of mull them over, and then Wednesday I'll give a talk and you'll already kind of be chewing on it, and we'll just keep on learning and growing. And yeah, so we're going to dive in right now.